Is he awake?
Is that you, Timothy?
Yes, Prince.
Where are we?
About 14 miles outside of Moscow.
Moscow?
It's been abandoned. The French are there.
How's the woman?
Mine's all right, sir. How are you?
Confused. I keep thinking I'm dreaming.
It happened at Borodino about 10 days ago.
Oh, yeah. Borodino, I remember. Is there something to drink?
We've got some tea. Fetch some tea over.
Borodino, what happened?
It's pretty bad. Thousands died. We were lucky.
Did we leave the field to the French?
Not really. We fought each other to a standstill then. We drew back to the other side of Moscow.
Neither side won then?
No. Except the French expected to win. So that was a defeat, really. Get a spoon. That'll do.
I keep waking and dreaming. I remember a lot of men groaning and screaming.
That was the hospital tent where they took us.
Oh, yes. This is coming back to me now. I remember lying next to a man who lost both his legs. I knew that man. Who was it, Timokin?
I don't know, Prince.
No. But I knew him. He was involved in some way in my life. Or did I dream it?
I think you should get some sleep now.
What happened afterwards?
You came back with the wounded into Moscow. We were lucky again. Some people gave up their carts so the wounded could be taken out of the city. We're traveling with them.
Where are we?
A little place called Troitska.
We're moving again?
Not for a few days. Unless the French advance out of Moscow, which isn't likely.
I think... Am I dying? Yes, I'm already half dead. What of it? So much the better. Who was that man? I knew him in the hospital tent. I knew... Ah, yes. Kuragin, of course. My God, I remember now. What was it I felt? Not hate, but pity. Pity and love for the man who was my enemy. Yes. The love that God preached on earth. That Maria tried to teach me and I could never understand. To love one's neighbors, to love one's enemies, to love everything. That's why I knew such joy when I felt that I loved that man. Human love may turn to hatred, But divine love cannot change. Nothing, not even death, can destroy it. It is the very nature of the soul. Yet how many people have I hated in my life? Of them all, none did I love and hate as much as Natasha. And yet mine was a greater cruelty, rejecting her. How she must have suffered. If I could see her now, just to tell her.
Where on earth are they going to, all these troops?
They're taking up positions to the south of Moscow. That's where all the supplies are. It'll make it harder for Napoleon to revictual his army.
Where on earth did you find all that out?
That year before he left, he explained the whole movement. Apparently, it's a very dangerous maneuver to reposition so close to the enemy. But that's what we're doing.
He never tells me anything. I do hope he's all right.
Oh, of course he's all right. I feel quite rested in my mind now that he's in Bezukhof's regiment.
Dear Pierre. What then can he be doing in Moscow?
Leaving it if he's got any sense. It could be warm enough in that nightgown.
Yes, I think so. Where are the girls? Why don't they come to bed?
Oh, stop fretting, Ilya. If they want to sit outside, they may as well. I don't suppose they'll sleep much anyway.
Natalie, I'm worried.
What about?
Natasha. Not telling her that Prince Andrei is here among the wounded.
Well, there's no need for her to know. It'll only upset her.
Well, what if she ever finds out that we knew? What will she think of us?
I'm her mother, and I take full responsibility. You're her father, and she never thinks badly of you anyway.
But Natalie...
There's no sense in her knowing.
But you know, in her heart, there may be something that she wants to say to him. You know what I mean?
No, I do not. I don't see that she has anything to say to him.
Well, you know, to be honest, it was more her fault than his.
I don't know what you mean. In any case, why reopen old wounds? She was positively ill with the whole affair for weeks. You saw that. Now it's over. She's forgotten about it. So is he, like as not. I don't want to be plagued with that all over again.
Well, perhaps you're right.
I am right, so just leave things alone. In a few days we'll be able to move on to the Ryazan estate. Doubtless the army will find him a room in some hospital, and that will be an end to it. Most unfortunate that it should ever have happened.
What's unfortunate?
The burning of Moscow.
Seems an odd way to describe it, Mama.
Well, tragic then. Now, get into bed, both of you. Ilya, are you going to stand about in that dressing gown all night?
No, I'm coming.
Our young men in Voronezh never have quite so much style.
He certainly seems to like the ladies.
Ah, let him amuse himself. It's not much fun for soldiers these days. Though he does seem to be paying rather a lot of attention to Petrov's wife.
Oh, Count, I'm quite out of breath. We're not used to dancing with such vigor in Voronezh.
Then you must come to Moscow. There we never dance any other way.
Moscow, how I should love that. My husband loathes Moscow. He says Voronezh has far more to offer.
Yes, I can see what he means. But Moscow has beautiful women too, you know.
Oh, I'm sure it does. And you must know a great many.
A fair amount. You wouldn't pass unnoticed there, if I may say so.
You are very gallant, Count.
I'm never gallant. I only speak what I know to be the plain truth.
How long are you staying here?
Till my business is finished.
What is your business?
Horses. I'm buying remounts for the regiment.
What do you think of our city?
I think it's delightful. especially the people.
Oh, you zaz. I'm sure you say that wherever you go.
Not at all. As I said before, I'm never gallant.
I must say it's delightful to have you with us. The people here are so provincial, you know?
Obviously not all of them.
Well, some of us try to keep up with things. Have you bought your horses yet?
If you promise not to breathe a word to anyone, yes. I bought them the first day I arrived.
Then you're just dabbing, really.
Well, can you blame me with so many attractions?
The governor tells me that you've been decorated for gallantry.
As I said before, I'm...
You are never gallant. You're too much, Gus. I suspect if the truth were known, you're hoping to carry off more than just our horses.
How could you possibly have discovered that?
I can tell. Who is she?
No, I'd be drummed out of the town if I told you.
Oh, but you can trust me.
Never.
I have only your welfare at heart.
Oh, impossible to create a scandal.
Then describe her to me.
You swear yourself to secrecy?
Oh, of course.
She's blonde.
Ah, you like blondes?
I like this one.
Fairer than me?
As fair, no more, no less.
And what else?
Her eyes are blue, her lips are coral, her teeth white as ivory, and she's enchanting.
And does she know?
What, that she's enchanting?
No. That you intend to run off with her?
Of course not. I'm trying to pluck up the courage to tell her.
Oh, I'm sure you don't need too much courage.
Now, there's one little snag. The lady is not free.
Ah, she's married.
Yes.
Well, then you have a problem.
So you see, running off with her will prove a little difficult.
Then what is the alternative?
Well, I shall wait till this little affair with Bonaparte is over and then invite her and her husband, of course, to Moscow.
And what if her husband doesn't like Moscow either?
I shall have to persuade him.
My dear, I think it is time we should leave.
Not yet, Nikita. It's too early. Count Rostov and I were just talking about Moscow.
Yes. Yes, I understand you're not keen on Moscow, Nikita Ivanich.
It has its advantages, I suppose. But I prefer Voronezh. I think the people are more sincere.
Oh, I think the Count would agree with you there. He is planning to run off with one of them.
Now, you promised you wouldn't tell anyone. I ask you, Nikita Ivanich, can you ever trust a woman with a secret?
Where is your regiment, Count?
Near Kaluga. The whole army's moved there, I think.
You must be anxious to rejoin it.
Whatever for?
Are you not afraid to miss some of the action?
Certainly not. Besides, I'm enjoying myself here.
Do you think this is a proper time to be enjoying yourself? With Moscow abandoned and thousands dead?
Well, there's nothing I can do about that. We shall fight the war when we're ready. Don't worry, Nikita Ivanich. We shall win the war.
I am going to rob you of our dashing hussar. You cannot keep him to yourself the whole evening. Nikita Ivanich, there is no law that says a man may not dance with his own wife. You know, Nikolai, you said I might call you Nikolai. After all, I knew your mother years ago.
I insist you call me Nikolai.
Well then, Nikolai, do you not think you are paying rather too much attention to the little blonde?
Do you think so?
It's becoming obvious. You make her husband seem foolish.
Oh, but he and I are great friends.
Well, then he seems unaware of it. Besides, why waste your time on a married lady?
If I should adopt that philosophy, I would have to exclude you, too.
Hush. I am old enough to be your mother. I'm sure you're not such a flirt at home. It must be the uniform you soldiers put on.
Well, Count, I see you're not a gambler. You prefer the ladies to cards.
I would have thought that made me more of a gambler, what?
Bless me, that's a good one. I never thought of that.
I was just explaining to Nikolai that he is paying rather too much attention to Katerina.
Well, why not? That husband of hers doesn't pay her nearly enough.
Now, don't encourage him. It's my duty to keep an eye on him while he is in Voronezh. I owe it to his dear mother.
There'll be plenty to keep an eye on him, I dare say. He's much sought after.
Oh, Anna. Excuse me.
Well, Count, how long's this war going to last?
Till there's not a single enemy soldier left on Russian soil.
Well, that's bravely said.
That was said by the Tsar, and he means it. And the army will see that it's done.
What do you think of old Kutuzov? Do you think he's up to it?
I can only tell you that there isn't a soldier in the army who'd change him.
So they say, so they say. But he's not the equal of Bonaparte, eh? I mean, he doesn't really have his flair.
He had the measure of him at Borodino.
Were you at Borodino?
No, I was foraging, but the French never broke through, and we retired in good order.
No, that's all we seem to have done since the war began. When are we going to attack?
When Kutuzov's ready.
Will he ever be?
I think he's the best judge of that. He doesn't fight battles just for the sake of it. And do you know why? Because he loves the army and wouldn't waste the life of a single soldier if he could help it.
Very praiseworthy. Meanwhile, we lose Moscow.
But Moscow isn't Russia. In my opinion, this is a mistake that Bonaparte made. He thought that once the war reached Moscow, it would be over, but it's not.
Well, it's good to have such a first-class account of the war. You young chaps have got all my admiration, you know.
Do you want to know what I really think? I think Kutuzov is just waiting for the snow to come. Bonaparte has no idea what a Russian winter can be like. He's going to find it's another Russian army all rolled into one.
Well, I hope you're right. My word, it's good to have you here. You know, this house is yours while you're in Voronezh, to say nothing of the ladies.
Nikolai, my dear, come. I have someone who wants to meet you.
There you are, popular as ever.
Who is it?
A lady.
Oh, dash it, aren't there any men who want to meet him?
Nicholas, I would like you to meet a very dear friend of ours, Anna Ignatia Malvintseva.
How do you do?
So, this is Count Rostov. I've been hearing quite a lot about you, young man.
Nothing detrimental, I hope.
On the contrary, my niece is unusually admiring.
Do I know her?
I think so. You rescued her from her estate at Bogocharovo. Princess Bolkonskaya.
Princess Bolkonskaya, your niece?
Yes.
What, is she here in Voronezh?
She is. She arrived a week ago. I've heard all about that little adventure in which you played such a romantic part.
Oh, it was really very little. And is she here tonight?
No. She is still in mourning for her father. But I'm sure she will be delighted to see you if you would care to call.
Yes, of course.
But then I'm sure you have plenty of other amusements here in Voronezh.
No, not at all. No, please tell her that I would like to call on her.
Good. And now, Nadia, I must leave you.
Oh, but you've only just arrived.
Oh, it was no more than a courtesy call. I cannot stay out enjoying myself. My niece is still in mourning. Thank you, my dear, for inviting me. Goodbye, young man. Do not forget to call on us.
I won't.
A word, my dear. Let us go into the study. I noticed a slight hesitation on your part when Anna invited you to call. Do you like the Princess Maria?
Yes. Well, yes, but you see, that's the reason.
It's a very strange reason for not wanting to call. I thought perhaps you might find her too plain.
Certainly not. She has a lovely face.
Oh, I agree with you, mon cher, but not everyone does. How extraordinary that you should have rescued her like that.
Well, it just happened. I was in the vicinity.
Oh, things don't just happen. I don't believe it. Listen, my dear, that would really be a match for you.
A match?
You and the princess. Would you like me to arrange it? I will make a match for you. I'm sure your mother would be grateful.
I don't know.
Well, has the idea never entered your head? I see that it has. Well, then you must let me arrange it while you're here. But of course, you must stop paying quite so much attention to Petrov's wife.
Madame Galenkova, can I be frank with you?
Yes, of course, my dear. What is it?
Well, things are not quite so simple.
Well, they really are. They're seldom so difficult as to be impossible. What's bothering you?
Well, for a long time, Mama has been bent on marrying me to an heiress. But well, the idea of marrying just for money is abhorrent to me.
Well, naturally. I would expect that. After all, we're not living in the Middle Ages. Still, you do like her.
Yes, I do.
Well, then, that's half the battle.
As a matter of fact, I like her very much. I feel drawn to her, especially after the way in which we met. And
it was fate, I know it.
Yes, and Mama having it in mind for so long. That was strange, too.
Well, of course, I don't find that so strange.
But you understand that while my sister was betrothed to Prince Andrei, I could not have married Princess Maria anyway.
Well, of course not. The laws of the church would forbid it.
But doesn't it seem almost as if their engagement was broken off in order that something should happen between us?
My dear, you're preaching to the converted. What are you trying to say?
I've never spoken to anyone about this before. I don't really know why I'm speaking to you now.
Because you are far from home and I am a stranger. Go on.
Well, everything happening in this way, even Princess Maria being here in Veronese at this moment, make me think that in some way events are drawing us together despite ourselves.
I agree.
But there's a complication. I'm already pledged.
Ah, I see. Well, then, how can your mama...
Mama doesn't agree with it. You see, it's my cousin, Sonya.
Ah, Sonya.
But I promised I would marry her. I can't go back on my pledge.
My dear, Sonya hasn't a kopeck. And I know that your father's affairs are in a bad way. Now, you listen to me. I'm going to talk to you like a sensible aunt, and you are going to listen like a sensible nephew. In the first place, this is a boy and girl romance, something that happens in childhood. No reasonable person expects it to last forever.
Yes, but when you give your word...
Well, nobody takes it seriously when it's given under such conditions. You must believe me. And then again, you are cousins. That is a very good reason against the marriage.
But it's not a sufficient reason.
It's sufficient for most of us. And then what about your mother? Wouldn't it kill her? And what sort of a marriage would it be for Sonya? A girl with a great deal of heart, I'm sure. Your mother in despair, the estate ruined. No, I'm sure Sonya realizes that.
You make it sound very convincing.
It is convincing.
But I could never pursue the idea unless Sonya released me from my pledge.
She will do that when she realizes what has happened.
But I'll never mention it to her.
Someone will tell her.
No, Mama!
Sonya, listen.
No, Mama, don't ask me! No, Mama!
I insist. Will you stop crying and listen? I won't have this nonsense. Do you understand? You'll listen. This has gone on long enough.
Mama!
You'll listen to me. Do you hear?
Mama, please don't ask me.
I will ask you. I will. You must write to him and break off the engagement.
I can't.
You can and you will. Does it mean anything to you what we've done for you all these
You
years?
know it does. You know I do anything.
Then do this for me. That's all I ask.
But I love him.
I did not bring you into my house to marry my son. Oh, Sonya. Why do you make me say these things to you?
He loves me.
He does not love you. Silly childhood thing. I should have put an end to it years ago. Anyone else would have turned you out of the house. Don't you feel any gratitude?
You know I do.
Then do this for me. Write to him and break off the engagement.
Let him do it.
He won't do it. You know he won't. He thinks he's given you his word.
He has.
Then release him from it.
I can't. I won't. Why must it always be me who makes the sacrifice?
You? Do you know what we've sacrificed? Everything. Everything.
I won't throw him into the arms of that woman just because she's got money.
It isn't just because she's got money. You should know my son better than that.
He'd do it to please you.
He'll do nothing to please me. He wouldn't even go to see Julie Karagina when I wanted him to. He's too noble for that.
I don't blame him.
Oh, do you think I want him to marry just for money? Do you think I don't know the happiness that comes from being in love with the partner you choose?
Then leave him alone.
I am not pushing him. Don't you understand? He's met this girl and he likes her. It's clear from Nadia's letter, but he'll do nothing because of you.
He may like her, but he doesn't love her.
How do you know? You won't give him the chance to find out.
I know he doesn't.
Why? Because she's rich. That's no more a barrier to love than being poor.
Oh, Mama, it's far less. Far less. We wouldn't be talking like this if I was rich.
Oh, perhaps not. Love's not the only thing in the world. You can't live on it. Not the way my family had been brought up. How happy do you think he'd be with you? Knowing the kind of life he might have led with her. Hmm? Do you believe in Nikolai?
Of course I do.
Do you think he'd sacrifice his honor for money?
Not if he's left alone.
Then let us both leave him alone. I shall say nothing to him, and you will write giving him his freedom. Then let him do what he wants.
But that isn't fair! That isn't fair!
Why not? My son won't marry without love.
He'd do anything for his family, anything, and you know it!
Yes, and that's the difference between him and you.
Princess. I intrude on your mourning.
I couldn't let you be in Voronezh without seeing you. Madame Galenkova.
How are you, my dear?
I'm well, thank you. This is Nikolenka, my brother's son.
Hello, Nikolenka. He's a big boy.
Well, sit down. I'm sure you both have a lot to talk about. I never heard such a story as your rescue of my niece outside of a novel.
Oh, it was really very little. I was glad to be of service.
The Count tells us he will be leaving soon. Are you enjoying your stay?
Yes, very much. Everyone's been so kind.
I'm sure he finds us all very provincial.
Not at all.
You should see him dance, my dear. Oh, he taught us a thing or two the other night, I can tell you.
You like dancing?
Not especially. As a matter of fact, I rather surprised myself. I'm generally considered stiff.
Oh, my goodness, what does that make me?
Voronezh has clearly had the effect of loosening you up.
He showed us an écossaise. Well, it was quite abandoned. Where did you get your tapestries, my dear?
From an Armenian who works in the town. Do you like them?
Oh, they're most unusual. Do you have others?
Well, I bought several. They're upstairs. Would you like to see them?
Yes, I'd love to.
I'll show them to you. They were quite cheap. The man is very clever. You won't mind for a moment, my dear? Of course not, Aunt. He came here about 6 months ago.
She's very kind, Madame Galenkova.
Yes. Have you heard from your family?
Only that they're leaving Moscow. I understand you haven't heard from Prince Andrei.
No.
I feel sure you will.
Life is strange. I have wanted so often to be able to thank you properly for what you did, and I never thought I should have the opportunity.
Did you have an easy journey when I left you?
It wasn't difficult. I found Nikolenka in Moscow and a letter from Andrei advising me to come and stay with my aunt. The war is terrible.
Yes.
So many have died.
Yes.
I wondered often what had happened to you. I prayed you might be spared.
Could I ask you to go on mentioning me in your prayers?
There's no need. I would do it anyway.
Well, and what will you be when you grow up,
A soldier.
A soldier? What kind of soldier?
A hussar like you.
Well, you could do worse than that.
Papa is a soldier,
Yes, I know.
but he's not a hussar.
What is he?
He's a foot soldier.
And you want to be a hussar?
Yes, the uniform's nicer.
I tried to tell him he doesn't have to be a soldier, that there are other things to be just as important.
Well, that's true.
What else could I be?
You could be a farmer or a diplomat.
I'd rather be a soldier.
Yes, I thought you would.
I hope you'll call again before you leave.
I would like to.
When you write home, perhaps you'll remember me kindly to your mother and father.
I shall.
And to your sister. We only met once, and...
It was a misunderstanding.
Yes.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Nikolai's in Voronezh. He met Princess Maria again.
See. Sonya, Mama thinks there's a chance of making a match. Oh, why do these things have to happen? Why can't people just fall in love and marry and be left alone?
It's always me. If there's anything to be given up, Sonya will give it up. There's enough for all except one. Let Sonya go without, she won't mind.
Oh, Sonya, it hasn't always been like that, now has it?
And what do you know about it? When have you ever had to make a sacrifice of anything? No, Natasha is special. Natasha is loved by everyone. Everything must be sacrificed for her.
That isn't true, Sonya. Don't say that.
Well, I haven't minded. You've been good to me, all of you, and I've never denied it. I've even enjoyed making the sacrifices. Because it made me feel as if I was repaying you all for letting me be here.
We don't want you to repay us.
Yes, you do. You all do in your own ways. Except Nikolai. Well, I didn't ask him to say that he loved me. I'd have been happy if he'd never looked on me as anything but just a friend. But he does love me. And he told me. And that meant more to me than all my life put together. I'd give up anything for this family. Even my life, but I won't give up Nikolai. I won't.
Well, we're a long way from marriage. And a lot of it is simply Mama's fond wishes. I can't honestly blame her for trying, Sonya. We've lost so much. It's a long way from coming to pass.
No. Mama's right. You can tell in the letter. He feels something for this woman.
That doesn't mean that he would marry her.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, why couldn't you have married Prince Andrei like you were supposed to, and then none of this would have happened?
You have no right to say that to me.
Well, it's true. If you kept to your word and remained faithful, then none of this would have happened. But it wasn't enough for you to be engaged to a man like that. You had to be married at once. You had to have everything when you wanted it. Because that's the way it's been all your life. Everything now when you wanted it. And it doesn't matter about anyone else. Well, I would wait all my life for Nikolai. Because I love him. The way Prince Andrei loved you.
Remind me of that, Sonya. I've been punished enough. Not a day passes that I don't punish myself for what I've done. You think I don't know how much I've hurt him? There aren't times when I pray I could see him just once again. Ask him to forgive me for what I've done. If he were here now, I'd go down on my knees.
Then go and see him. He's here now. He's out there among the wounded. Well, why shouldn't you know? He's been traveling with us since we left Moscow. I don't believe it. He's in the hut down by the hayrick. If you don't believe me, go and see for yourself.
Prince Andrei is here.
Yes.
Why didn't you tell me?
I saw no point to it.
That was unforgivable.
Did Sonya tell you?
Yes. But don't blame her. You've no right to blame her. You should have told me yourself.
Why? What good would it have done?
I could have seen him.
Why?
There are things I have to say to him.
Why should he want to hear them? Are you still in love with him?
What difference does it make?
Are you?
Yes.
That's all the more reason why you shouldn't see him.
He's hurt.
Yes?
Is he badly hurt?
Yes.
Well, I could nurse him.
Do you think it right in his condition to upset him?
I don't think I would. I just want to ask him to forgive me for what I've done.
Men with pride like his never forgive a woman.
Does he know whom he's traveling with?
Well, I don't know. I don't think so.
Why shouldn't I go to him?
It would be no good for either of you. Listen, Natasha. You made a mistake. Don't go punishing yourself for the rest of your life.
Do you think he hates me?
My dear, he has every cause to.
Can't you sleep?
No,
Is the pain bad?
no.
What is it then?
I was just thinking.
Not much profit in that for any of us. Can I get you something? Do you want to sleep or talk?
Smokies,
Yes.
do you have any regrets in your life?
Can't say I do. Do you?
Just one. Only one real regret.
A woman? Would you like me to write to her?
No. Wouldn't do any good, not now.
You never know.
No.
You? Really you?
Yes.
I know this wretched delirium.
Now I'm here. Oh, forgive me. Oh, forgive me.
I love you.
Oh, please. Please forgive me.
For what? For what? I love you more now than I did before.
Andrei. I came to help you. From now on, you'll get well again. You'll see. Everything's going to be as it should have